With March 26th getting closer, excitement around the DJI Avatar 360 is building fast. But so is confusion. Despite all the early coverage, many of the most important questions are still hanging in the air. That's mainly because most creators haven't been able to fully test the drone yet due to NDA restrictions. So while you've probably seen polished previews, the real-world answers people actually care about, things like flight performance, regulations, and footage usability, are still largely unverified. One of the biggest talking points is the drone's weight and how it affects where and how you can fly it. Unlike sub-250-gram drones, the Avatar 360 sits above that threshold, which immediately raises concerns. In the United States, that means FAA registration is required. But things aren't that simple globally. In the United Kingdom, new 2026 regulations focus more on classification labels like C0, C1, or UK1, rather than just weight. The Avatar 360 is expected to fall under the UK1 category, which could allow it to be flown in a similar way to lighter drones, even up to 900 grams. These rules are set to remain in place until 2028. Meanwhile, in Europe, FPV flying often requires a spotter when using goggles, adding another layer of complexity. However, switching to a controller without goggles, like the RC2, can sometimes make compliance easier. Over in Australia, weight matters less, and maintaining visual line of sight is the main rule. So, while the 250-gram limit is important, it's far from a universal deal-breaker. Performance-wise, the Avatar 360 looks incredibly promising, especially for FPV enthusiasts. Full manual acro mode is confirmed when paired with the FPV Remote Controller 3, meaning there's no GPS assistance or stabilization, just pure control. This allows for advanced maneuvers like flips, rolls, and loops. Interestingly, even beginner modes support some of these tricks, making it more accessible than you might expect. One standout feature is head tracking, which lets you fly forward while freely looking around in a full 360-degree view through the goggles. Instead of being locked into a fixed camera angle, you get a truly immersive flying experience that feels very different from traditional drones. Of course, the 360 camera itself is both the biggest attraction and the biggest concern. Raw footage straight out of the drone can look distorted, with curved horizons that don't resemble natural footage, but that's actually by design. The idea is to reframe the video in post-production, choosing your angles after the flight. When done properly, this removes the distortion and results in normal-looking footage. Shooting in 8K helps preserve detail during this process, although cropping inevitably reduces the final resolution. In bright daylight, image quality holds up well, but low-light performance is less impressive. This trade-off between flexibility and pure image quality is something we've also seen in the Insta360 Antigravity A1. For those who prefer simplicity, there's also a single lens mode that works like a standard forward-facing camera. Another concern that's been raised is durability, specifically around landing. The drone is designed to land on protective pads rather than directly on its lenses, but there's still a risk. Uneven ground or a bad landing angle could cause the lower lens to make contact with the surface. DJI seems to have anticipated this, offering replaceable lenses at a relatively low cost. It's clearly built with FPV-style rough usage in mind, but it still makes sense to land on flat surfaces and keep spare lenses handy. Then there's the hidden challenge that many people overlook: editing. Working with 8K 360 footage isn't easy on hardware. A system with at least 16 GB of RAM is recommended, though 32 GB or more is ideal. A dedicated GPU is almost essential for smooth performance. Even with optimized software, handling this kind of footage can be demanding. And while platforms like YouTube compress video, reducing the visible benefits of 8K, the extra resolution still matters for reframing and professional-level results. For buyers, it's also worth thinking about alternatives. The DJI Avatar 2 remains a strong option, especially if you don't actually need 360 capture. It's likely to become even more affordable after the Avatar 360 launches, making it a smarter choice for many users. At the end of the day, the Avatar 360 is shaping up to be one of the most innovative FPV drones in years, but it's not without its trade-offs. Regulations vary widely, the 360 workflow requires effort, and the hardware demands are real. The good news is that real answers are coming soon. Hands-on testing starting March 26th should finally reveal how this drone performs outside of controlled previews, and whether it truly lives up to the hype. Let's talk about some pros and cons side of Antigravity A1. The Antigravity A1 is introduced as the world's first true 360-degree drone. Instead of pointing a single camera in one direction, it captures everything around it. This production model has already been tested for several weeks to evaluate its real-world performance. The drone is available in multiple bundles, including the Infinity Bundle for users who want the complete package. Starting with the unboxing experience, the drone comes with a shoulder carrying bag that makes it easier to transport during travel. There is also an additional protective case designed specifically for the drone to keep it safe while moving from one location to another. The drone itself features a foldable and compact design. This makes it easy to store and carry without taking up much space. Even with its advanced camera system, the drone weighs under 249 grams, which is important because it helps avoid stricter drone regulations in many regions. Despite the lightweight body, it can still handle wind speeds up to 10.7 meters per second, which falls into level 5 wind resistance. For safety, the drone includes obstacle sensors on the front as well as additional sensors on the bottom. When the system detects an obstacle, the drone can automatically brake to prevent a collision. However, it will stop instead of navigating around the object. The camera system is the highlight of the Antigravity A1. It uses two 360-degree cameras positioned on the top and bottom of the drone. This design allows the drone itself to disappear from the final footage, creating a floating camera effect. The drone can record 8K 360-degree video at 30 frames per second, which provides extremely detailed footage. It also supports 4K slow-motion recording at 100 frames per second for smoother action shots. The cameras use a relatively large 1/1.28-inch sensor, which helps capture more detail and better colors. Image quality includes strong color saturation and good dynamic range. There is no flat color profile for advanced color grading, but users still get manual controls such as shutter speed and ISO adjustments. The maximum ISO is 6400, although footage in very dark conditions may introduce some noise. To protect the camera lenses, the drone uses deployable landing legs that keep the lower camera away from the ground when landing. The lenses themselves are also replaceable, and a repair kit is available if they become scratched. The drone includes useful lighting as well. A front status light shows the drone's condition, with green indicating normal operation and red warning of a low battery. There is also an auxiliary light on the bottom that helps with night flying. For storage, the drone includes 20 gigabytes of internal memory along with a memory card slot for additional storage. Charging and data transfer are handled through a USB-C port. Battery performance depends on which battery you use. The standard battery provides around 20 to 22 minutes of flight time. A larger, high-capacity battery can extend that up to 39 minutes. The multi-battery charger can charge 3 batteries at once and includes a display showing each battery's percentage. The system also includes FPV vision goggles weighing about 340 grams. These goggles have a separate battery worn around the neck, offering about 2.5 hours of runtime. Inside the goggles are dual 1-inch micro OLED displays that provide a clear and immersive view. They also include adjustable diopter settings for vision correction and an anti-fog system. The transmission range reaches up to 10 kilometers under FCC conditions and around 6 kilometers under CE regulations. The goggles even include a small front display that allows people nearby to see what the pilot is viewing. Control is handled through a motion controller. Pulling the trigger moves the drone forward, and there are 2 flight modes, free motion and FPV mode. The controller also includes buttons for takeoff, recording, emergency braking, and different speed levels, including a fast sport mode that reaches 16 meters per second. The biggest advantage of a 360-degree drone is flexibility. Pilots can look in any direction while flying because the drone's movement and viewing direction are separate. This allows creators to fly first and frame later, meaning they can adjust the camera angle during editing instead of worrying about perfect framing in the air. The drone also includes smart features like Deep Track for tracking people or vehicles, Sky Genie for automated cinematic movements, and SkyPath for waypoint flights. Safety features such as Return to Home activate automatically if the signal is lost or the battery becomes low. In addition to standard video recording, the drone supports slow-motion video and a 55-megapixel photo mode that saves images in JPEG format. All these features together make the Antigravity A1 a unique step forward in drone technology, especially for creators who want maximum flexibility when capturing aerial footage.